your slides yet.
I'm doing that now. Okay. Okay. Please confirm that you can see my slides.
Can see.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this session of our HR Mentorship Learning Series. It's glad to have you join us today. And I want to thank Dr. Oluyemi Adeosun for the opportunity to be part of something that is impactful, transformational. Thank you very much, sir, for your leadership for HR mentorship. And my name is Juliet Keporo. I'm the group head for HR and corporate services at Human Investment Group Africa. And I will be facilitating this session this evening. Just a brief summary about myself. I like to think of myself as a strategic architect of workplace excellence, right? I bring about 7 years experience, 7 in human resources and 3 in administration. And my end game is to blend people, processes, and innovation to build high impact organizations from consulting, healthcare, insurance, nonprofits, manufacturing. I have transformed HR and admin from being a function into a business accelerator, aligning talent strategies with organizational goals, whether I'm pioneering cutting-edge HR technologies, shaping cultures of inclusion or engagement, or just helping employees along their full potential. My mission remains the same, and that is to turn workplaces into thriving ecosystems where people and businesses flourish. So that's a summary about me. And thank you so much for joining the session this evening. So we're proceeding right away. I think we have 14 participants on the call, right? So the topic is the dynamic HR career toolkit from competence to confidence. And I think the end game for me is I want this session to be very interacting. It's not just, it's not just teaching or anything. This is facilitating. So I would need your input. I would need your comments. I would need your energy because I want us to have a fantastic, impactful time this evening. So just a quick one before I even begin to share my continue, begin with the facilitating session itself. I want to ask, right, for everybody on this call, I believe we have HR, aspiring HR professionals, already HR professionals, HR pros, HR newbies on the call. Just a quick question before we start, right? And that would be to ask us, why did you choose this career path? I want to know why. Why HR? Why not marketing? Why not business development? Why not what else? Engineering? Why HR? Just quick in the comment section. I'm waiting. So why HR? Just one word, right? If you can type a lot, that's also fine. I just want to know really quick. Let me check the comments. Why have you chosen to be an HR professional? Why? I know the common response is people will say, oh, it's because I discovered I was a people person. I think it's until you start HR, you realize that you need more than that, right? To be a successful HR person. So I think I got one response. All right. Mr. Dewale said, building people and business. That's fantastic. Any other person care to tell us why HR? Why have you chosen this career path? Why are you not in the army? Or why are you not, what else? I'm trying to think of other career paths. Why are you not in sales? Why are you not, chasing targets? Why are you not in, Mr. Kiyemi said, I love to be part of success stories. That's very beautiful. That's very impactful, right? Thank you for that. to change the dynamic of business as a strategy planner. This is from Mr. Paul. Wow, I love all these responses. You can keep dropping them, as we go around, I can continue to pick the responses, but we have to move now. So thank you so much for everyone that commented. And I think, we really have people that love HR on this call. So I'm excited for that. So proceeding to my next slide. So the agenda today, at the end of this meeting, I want to be able to cover, the HR landscape. Why do you need a career toolkit? I'm sure you're wondering, toolkits, like what is a toolkit? Why do I need a toolkit, right? We'll find out on this call. And of course, we're going to be exploring a case study, which is why I said, prepare. We're going through this journey together from beginning to the end. And of course, 6 must-have tools in your HR career toolkit, the roadmap to confidence, and of course, conclusion, right? And then we have to take questions and answers as well. All right. So just going right into introduction, right? To just set, context, right? I also introduced like an icebreaker in this session, and it's to say, if you could have one HR superpower, right? This will lead us into our introduction. If you could have one HR superpower, what would it be? Would you want to instantly resolve workplace conflicts? Would you want to predict employee turnover? Would you want to increase engagement in a single action? Or would you want to automate all HR tasks or read your CEO's mind? So I'd love to know in the comment, just drop A, B, C, D, or E. You have to choose only one. You can't have both. So if you were to have, if you could have one, right? You have the opportunity to be a superman, a superwoman, just like the picture on my slide, right? So, I think I got another response from Omobola G. Says I was interested in a dynamic approach to human development to transition from personnel to human resources. That's very fantastic. Thank you so much, Omobola G, for your response. All right. Amos said C. Okay, what's C? So Amos said C. That increased engagement with a single action. Fantastic. I think I also got another comment. Let me check that quickly. Okay. So Akiyemi said C as well. Increase employee engagement. Adewale said E, you want to read your CEO's mind. I love that. Honestly, sometimes, right? I know. Just know what they are thinking so that you don't, you know exactly where you're channeling all your energy, right? Then there's Abigail. Abigail said D, fantastic. Cyril said C. Tabitha said C. Any other answers? Or we move to the next slide. Oh, Irene there said E. I'm very sorry with the pronunciations, please. In case I did not pronounce your name very well, please forgive me. Mr. Paul said D. Great. C. Engagement. I love it. Thank you, Mr. Ido, right? Thank you for your response. Thank you, everyone, for, giving me. I think, if we're going to do an aggregate of all the superpowers we want to have, I think most people said C, increase engagement with a single action, right? And I think I also got D's, automate all repetitive HR tasks and be able to read your CEO's mind. So these were like our top 3 responses. Very fantastic. So now moving on, right, to introduction proper is to say the future of HR right now, right, isn't about managing people. It's actually about driving business impact. I think we've long moved beyond, managing people, all the normal tasks we used to do. Now HR is expected to be, to help people even chase targets. You're expected to even know what the figures are, know what the numbers are, know how the business is doing. You're expected to understand, every single thing. I think I personally have had to, shuffle all departments just to be able to understand what they do, right? In their day-to-day, I want to be involved. What's the target? What's the budget? What, strategy for every unit. HR is no longer expected to just, be chilling and waiting for issues to resolve or crafting policies anymore. We are now needed to drive business impact, right? And now the HR profession itself has undergone a significant shift from administrative support into business leadership, as have already, explained. And that's truly what is happening right now. when a CEO or a founder or an employer is bringing an HR on board these days, it's not even because they just want to put the place in order. I think they can find other means to organize people. But bringing HR people on board right now, the reason why they're doing that is to have somebody, right, that will kind of be the eye, looking at the business from another view entirely, right? That's what they are actually after now. So it's not just, bringing somebody. If they needed somebody to, these days, I think there's even, you can get policies online. You can buy it. People sell policies now, maybe hiring, firing documents. They could just buy that and start replicating, right? But for a CEO that decides and says they want to get an HR person, it is because they want you to be part of the business. So moving on, right? Today's HRs are also expected to be tech savvy, data driven, and business oriented, right? And to thrive, we need more than knowledge. We need a toolkit that will not only build confidence, but credibility and also influence. So that when you speak or you suggest things as an HR person, people listen to you. Your leadership take, they take you get their buying a lot easier. You don't have to, do too much to try and convince that this is what will be good for this company, right? When you have that confidence, when you have that credibility as an HR person, and you have that influence, anything that you want just works out, right? So what I was doing when I was preparing for this session, I took up my time to do a bit of research because where I'm working, we do a lot of data. So I think it has become an habit that I don't say anything until I've backed it up with, numbers, metrics at the end of the day, right? So now there was a study that was done in 2023 by Gartner report. And what it showed was that as at 2023, or this is even 2025, right? It showed that 70% of HR people, right, when they gave their feedback to a survey that was done in 2023, they confirmed that their function is now shifting from administrative, right, to strategic, focusing more on business impacts. Now, that is not even all, right? The point where I said HR professionals are now expected to be tech savvy and data driven and business oriented, especially that tech part, right? Is to say there was a study that was done by Fountain Business Insights, and what they found out is like a prediction, and they said that the global HR technology market, I think this will be good for anybody that's looking to go into HRIS development. This is a very good data for you, right? They said the global HR technology market is expected to reach about $3.5 million by 2028. So if you're on this call, you're considering starting a business in HRIS, I'm giving you data, right? And this is like, this is a prediction that is going to reach $35.7 million by 2028. And all of this is going to be driven by AI, automations, HR analytics, right, by 2028. So this is 2025. So we have 26, 27, 28 together. It means even more of HR roles are going to be required to incorporate tech, incorporate AI, incorporate automations, right, into our daily work. So now moving on to the HR landscape today. I think I've already even turned a lot of lights on this. I'm just going to rush through this particular slide. And that is, the first one is the evolution of HR. Traditional HR before now is more administrative, process-driven, compliance-focused. But right now, modern HR, strategic, data-driven, and people-centric. And now the key trends that are currently shaping HR careers are digital transformation. I already gave you data on that. AI, HRIS, data analytics, right, are redefining HR roles. I don't think there's any ad for HR role that I've seen in the past 6 months that has not said, HRIS proficiency, or, there's always that, that thing about technology in there. You have to HR analytics. I think that's the other word that we use for it now, or people analytics, right? Then, of course, the employee experience revolution, right? So now people, engagement, we pay more attention to wellness and also inclusion, DEI, right? And all of these now matter more than ever. So as an HR person, you must have been able to incorporate all of this into your success story for your employees. I think there was someone on the call that his response to why HR was that, he wants to be part of success story. So these are some of the ways, right? And then the shift to strategic HR. That's HR leaders are expected to now align workforce strategies with business objective. I think that just confirms the very first thing I said about how HRs are now expected to know how a business runs. You need to know the numbers, know the target, know what the goal is, what the business wants to make in a year, and how you're going to contribute to that as an HR person. So moving on to the next slide, right? Why do you need a career toolkit? Now, I'm sure a lot of us, we've worked with, handymen before, we've worked with workmen before, or you've invited one over, maybe, to fix something in your office, in your home, right? Do you realize that box that they carry? They carry, all their tools. I don't know if you've ever employed maybe a handyman to work for you before, and then he comes with incomplete tools. Maybe he missed, and I think maybe spanner. I don't know who uses spanner. I'm so sorry, but let's say he forgets spanner, right? And he'll be like, do you have an alternative? So have you ever confirmed that in cases where he doesn't have alternative, he may have to tell you that, okay, I'm coming, I want to go and pick up this particular tool, I'll be back. If you had those experiences before with handyman, just type 1 in the chat box. I want to be sure that, I have, we can relate to what I'm talking about. Like you engage a plumber or maybe an electrician, and they come, or maybe you told them that you just want to change the bulb in your house, for example. And then by the time they come, maybe they came with only the tools for bulb. And then you now say, oh, there's one wire in the kitchen that needs, and then by the time he goes there to check, he checks the tools that he brought. I'd be like, madam, I didn't carry my, I can't remember the name of the tool, but I think it's only spanner that keeps coming to my mind. Right. I think I've gotten 2 confirmations in the comment. So Mr. Adewale said I can relate. Thank you so much. Mr. Kiyemi said I can also relate. He said yes. So, that just, goes ahead to confirm what I'm saying, right? So that is how it's also important for you as an HR person to have your toolkit, right? So you see the importance, that it gives when you do not come correct. So for the electrician, he may have to, travel back and come back before he cannot get that job done. What has happened? He's wasted time, he's wasted resources. He would have spent transport and all of that coming back. And the time he would have been in another client's house, he's still on that particular job, right? For some other times, you can find alternative. Maybe you'll be like, okay, let me use the knife to loosen this. I think I used to know these things before. What's going on, right? They will probably, I think there are times that alternatives to is it losing all these knots, they will say, okay, do you have a knife in the house, for example, right? And they will work with that. So, oh, good. Somebody said an electrician who forgot his tester. Exactly. Imagine you went to go and fix, God. He will have to go back. There's no way, except he wants to maybe he wants to meet his creator a lot earlier, right? Or he would just want to go through a danger zone to get that job done. But of course, it's not sensible. He will have to go back and get that tester. And then Mr. Paul said tester. Miss Elizabeth said screwdriver. Thank you so much for helping me with the name of these tools. I don't know, I keep mentioning spanner up and down. All right. Thank you so much, for your comments. So yes, right? That is why you need a toolkit. So the first thing, relevance in a competitive job market. I don't know if you've noticed that there is this, I don't know if I should call it surge, maybe interest surge in human resources right now. I feel like everybody wants to be an HR professional. Everybody wants to get into HR. Be like, oh, I want to transition into HR. I want to, I'm probably just doing the analysis. I'm sure you all also have experiences from the kind of inquiries I get on LinkedIn, on my, contact list, even friends and family, right? They'd be like, oh, I want to transition into HR. Where do I start from? I'm like, well, you're a customer service person and you're doing so well, right? What's going on? So there's a lot of surge for our HR industry right now. People want to become HR people, right? So it means more people, which means, for you to really stand out, you have to do something more exceptional. You have to do something that just, that is just you, that is your selling point, right? So to gain relevance in the competitive job market, to have confidence in decision-making and leadership, Second one is agility to adapt to new trends, technology and business demands. With the way businesses are moving in this 2020, maybe like 2024, 2025, if you are not agile as an HR person, believe me, you're going to be left behind. Your CEO will do meetings and do not call you. They will make decisions and then they will inform you later, right? You have to be able to adapt. You have to see what the economy is saying. You have to see what the job market is saying. You have to see what trend is going on and be able to, adapt and move, right? I'm sure we've seen a lot of new trends. I think, I think, for example, if you want to go, I think the most common example we can use is this, the whole new life integration work trends where, we now have hybrid work, we now have, I think we've always had remote, but it was not just very, common. But now, right, companies are really finding ways to just make employees be able to harmonize work and life. Because really, I think the studies that have been done about work-life balance is that there's truly no balance. It doesn't balance at all. So what people should try and achieve is work-life harmony, right? So moving on to the next reason, influence. To give you influence in shaping workplace culture and business outcomes. I think there's one particular quote that we always use. They say culture we eat strategy for breakfast, right? For every beautiful plan, every beautiful goal, every beautiful target that you have as an HR person, if you do not have the right culture in place, believe me, it will fail. Nobody's going to run with it. It will fail. So you have to be able to have that influence in being able to shape a workplace culture and be able to give positive business outcomes. So now your HR career toolkit is the bridge between competence and confidence. You can have all the, credibility in the world. You can have all your, ACIPM, MBA, SHRMCP, oh my God, you can have all the titles, but if you do not, have confidence as an HR person, you will continue to doubt what you can do and how much influence you can actually have in your organization where you work, right? So now, the next slide. So just to summarize this particular slide, so that you do not have to come back or go back to go and get your tester or you forgot your screwdriver, right? You have to have a toolkit that is complete and a toolkit that even if, an item is missing, you can supplement, in the case of using a knife instead of a screwdriver, right? But of course, it's still better when you have a screwdriver. So as we continue the session, you would see how you can build your toolkit step by step. So next slide. So now, for context, I had to put a case study so that we just have a very brief 5 minutes, discussion on this. I'm going to read this case study to you so we see how we can work it together. So now, Z, I hope nobody is Z on this call. This was just a name that just came to my head while I was preparing my slides. Hope no Z, but if there's any Z on this call, please, it has no connection with you whatsoever. Thank you so much. So now Z had always envisioned himself as a powerful HR leader, someone who shaped organization culture, drove strategic decisions, and influenced leadership. However, despite holding the title of HR manager, right, he often found himself acting as a puppet rather than a decision maker. Now, these are the challenges. Leadership undermined his decisions. So every policy he introduced was overridden by executives. He was a messenger, not a decision maker. Instead of setting HR strategies, he was merely executing orders from top management, even when they went against HR best practices. Now, next thing, lack of influence in critical discussions. He wasn't consulted on major workforce changes, only informed after decisions were made. Employees saw him as a mouthpiece, not an advocate. Now, team members didn't trust him to push back on fair policies because they saw him as a management mouthpiece, right? Or a management messenger, not a representative. Now, despite being in the HR seat, Z felt powerless. He wanted to be a respected leader. He wanted, but he wasn't sure how to transition from taking orders. He wasn't sure how to transition from taking orders to setting the agenda. What can Z do to claim his power back? Now, I'm sure as I was reading, you were also reading alongside No. So let me know in the comments, what do you think Z can do to claim his power back? The challenges: leadership undermined his decision. He was a messenger, not a decision maker. Lack of influence, the critical discussions. Employees saw him as a mouthpiece, not an advocate. So how do you think, right, that he can gain his power back? How do you think Z can gain his power back? I'm waiting for your comments. What can he do? What can Z do to claim his power back? Let me go to the chat to check. So what do you think he can do, right? He good. I think I just got a response. Mr. Dewale said he needs to build competence and confidence. Great. That's very fantastic. He needs to build competence and confidence. And Mr. Balaji said, first, he has to learn the skill of emotional intelligence. He has to do I think you mean SWOT, right? Analysis of himself. He has to rebrand himself. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, SWOT. So any other comments? Yeah, I believe, yeah, he has to do a SWOT analysis to actually find out what the problem is, what is going on, right? At the end of the day, he has to rebrand himself. Very important. Anybody? What do you think Z can do? So Paul said Z need confidence in his actions and in action. Okay, that's that's really amazing, right? He needs confidence. Fantastic. Any other person care to contribute? What do you think Z can do? How does he claim his power back? He feels like a puppet, you know, he doesn't think that anything he suggests works out. He doesn't think that anything he cares to. Even employees do not trust him because they feel like, you know, whatever it is that he's contributing he's just being a messenger at the end of the day. So any other comment before we move along to the next slide? All right. If you still have anything, you know, to contribute, please type it. I would still read it when we are on the next, when we get to, there's a particular part where we'll still need it, you know, for discussions. So still type your responses. I think I just saw one more response. So let me take it before we move along. So Noye said, learn stakeholder management and get executive buy-ins on initiative. Thank you so much, Noye. That's a very fantastic point as well. He needs to learn it. He needs to, you know, really know how to engage his stakeholders, internal, external, whatever the case may be, and then of course get executive buy-ins on initiative. Thank you. If you still have anything, please drop it. We will take it along the line. So Glory also said, I feel he needs to garner important skills to improve his relevance. Yes, I also agree with you, right? There's a reason why he's been treated as a puppet. We will find out, right? And then Akiyemi said he needs to demonstrate competence. Thank you so much. All these responses are fantastic. And I believe Zed, wherever he is, he should be able to implement this to gain his power back. So if you still have anything else, you can also drop it. I would read it out when I come back to the comment. So now, going into this slide, right? The 6 must-have tools in your HR career toolkit. Now, the case study was, you know, so it leads us into this particular slide. And that is to say, you know, Zed, he's a puppet. He does what he's told. He's not trusted. You know, I think we've already highlighted some of the things that he should do. You know, I think I got a response about he needs to rebrand himself. He needs to do a SWOT analysis. He needs confidence. I think somebody even said he should do a SWOT, he should garner, you know, important skills that will help him gain relevance. So I think the summary from everything that we have commented is to say that, you know, his toolkits are incomplete. Even in this case, like he doesn't even have one. Maybe he just, you know, maybe somehow, right? It doesn't, maybe he just have like the box, there's nothing inside. So he's just carrying HR around, but it doesn't really have like a complete component, right, to work. So now, these are the 6 must-have tools in your HR career toolkit. If you have these 6 tools, you will thrive. Anything else that you add after all of this is Jara, right? So let's take them one by one. So the first thing here is knowledge. right? And I've highlighted that you need to, be trained. You need to get relevant certifications. You need to know your labor laws. And of course, you have to also have industry insights to keep you ahead of the curve, right? As an HR person, right? I'm sure if we have people that are aspiring HR professionals on the call, ensure you get the relevant trainings, right? These days there are a lot of mediums where you can get trained, to have, the theoretical knowledge about human resources. I think there are a lot of courses. There's Coursera, there's LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, Allison, Great Learning. There are a lot of them, right? Just ensure you're getting quality training. I think there are even, consulting firms these days that really put together some amazing training programs, right? So you also want to be sure that you're getting the best source for training. Be sure that you know what you're doing at the end of the day. So people get the opportunity to do on-the-job training. Maybe you got an opportunity in your organization to maybe shadow the HRO team. That's also another way to learn, right? That's on-the-job training. Or or maybe you have interest in HR, you want to learn HR, and you, depending on the organization you work in, right? You can discuss with your HR and be like, oh, this is my next, depending on, I said depending because I don't know, every organization may not be that transparent or that open, right? But I know that some other effective ways to learn HR is to learn HR from like HR itself, right? So he may be discussing with your HR person and say this is your, your next viable career interest. If they could give you opportunity to volunteer, right? You can learn from there. Even you can also volunteer with like internship opportunities. There are a lot of them these days. Just to ensure you're looking in the right places, right? So now you are equipped with trainings. You know what the HR, know how. Of course, get practical experiences as well, where you can actually use this information you've learned about HR to practice them. Then just highlighting certifications briefly, you also need, part of building your knowledge or building your knowledge component, you also need to have the right certifications to be able to command some level of respect, right, in your HR journey. I think the most simple and common one these days is CIPM, right? And I think there are a lot of routes. If you want to go through the exam route, fantastic. If you want to go through the practitioner's route, right? Fantastic. Executive, whatever level you are in HR, just any route you want to go through. I think they have different well, that's the most common ones. I know we have other bodies too in Nigeria, but of course, do your research, right? Do your research and be sure to go where they have quality materials, quality certifications, right, that are recognized and accepted. That's another thing. So of course, we also have the international ones. We have HRCI, we have SHRM, we have CIPD. So right, however many ones you want to have, how many you want to have, right? Go along according to you. Because I think a question I've gotten recently was that how many certifications do you need as an HR person to be able to command respect? And I think if I'm talking from my own point of view, my own perspective, I think it depends, on what you have, what you're exposed to as an HR person. It depends on the kind of opportunities you want to open yourself to. It depends on where you want to position yourself, right? I think the question I had gotten was about what's it called, HRCI. We have like different, we have AP, we have the SP, we have GPHR. I think someone was asking me that, do I have to go through all the stages? And it's according to what career paths, what kind of responsibilities, what kind of organizations you want to work, right? And if you make all these inquiries from the bodies themselves, they will explain to you, right, what you need, and then you can make a choice according to what you decide from their explanations. So of course, you have to understand your labor law. If you do not understand labor law, whatever policy, whatever thing that you're doing as an HR person, it's almost like, I think the summary of that is, I think they used to say a car without engine or something like that, right? Because the problems you will cause the organization by not understanding labor law is going to be a lot. And you do not really want to be there. So you want to be sure that you know the laws that are governing employment in Nigeria, right? Or in whatever country, we do remote work these days. So in whatever country that you are an HR for, right, you need to understand what the laws are. And of course, be relevant, be conversant to industry insight, what's happening in our industry, know what's happening to keep you ahead of the curve. So your knowledge base first. And the next thing is technology, HR tech, automation, AI-powered analytics for smarter decision making. So you have to get conversant with technology as an HR person. I want to believe that nobody does paperwork anymore, right? Because I feel like our work is a lot easier now. I know that there may still be a bit of paper here and there, but I think with the onset of, HRIS, it has been able to replace a lot of repetitive tasks, a lot of things that, you spend hours doing, forms that you want to fill, uploading them, a lot of these things, even leave, employees can just seamlessly go pick their dates on the HRIS, and then it goes to the line manager, the approval stages. So, right, you have to be able to embrace technology. Now, I also believe that there may be instances where you don't have the opportunity yet to use an HRIS because the organization, do not have it yet, right? You can be the one that advocates to get it on board. You can be the one, to come up and say, this is how to do things now. This, of course, go with your data. That's the thing. If you go, without backing your arguments with data, you won't have results. So you want to be able to incorporate that. So you have like automation. You have to know how to use technology, essentially. I think we've established it from the beginning by where I had given you the report that by 2028, right, the global HR technology market is expected to be at $35.7 million. Not naira, remember, dollars, right? So you need to be part of this, essentially, to stay ahead. Now, analytics, right? And that is for you to be using dashboards and storytelling to present HR data, and it enhances workforce planning and your decision making. By the time you incorporate technology into your work, a lot of things become easier. I think one of the things that really shaped my mind about analytics before now, I didn't even used to pay attention to it. I'm like, maybe it's for tech people, right? I'm not a tech, I'm HR. That's all that. So I think it was, I came across a dashboard that someone made, and it was a dashboard that is supposed to predict, I think, employee turnover in the next 1 year or so. I'm trying to remember the details. But seeing that thing alone, right, it was so fascinating. I'm like, how did you do this? Right? In this the same HR that all of us are in, right? So you see that things are happening. And you have, imagine going to your, let's just picture it. Imagine you're the CEO of a business, and then you have a chance for meeting presentations, and you act as an HR person, to present your report, maybe your data for 2024, and then you just put up this dashboard and say, okay, for 2024, this is where we are, right? And by 2025, I anticipate this. Who do you think, do you think that they would deny anything that you ask for? Right? Because they know that you have done your work. So you have to find a way to incorporate analytics, put it in your toolbox, right? Then, of course, the power skills. As an HR person, you must have emotional intelligence. You must have adaptability, leadership skills, conflict resolutions. I picked this particular 4 because they are the power skills. Before now, they'll say, okay, you need to have strong communication skills. But you can have strong communication skills and then you do not have emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence incorporates everything, right? It's how you're going to be able to have conversations that will be meaningful. It's how you're going to be able to, what's it called? Discuss and be in meetings and be able to make a lot of credible points and be taken seriously. You need to have emotional intelligence. You need to be adaptable. I think we talked about that before. You have to be agile as an HR person, and you need to know how to lead. And our leadership is not title. Leadership is not title. Leadership is way more than, the way we see leadership these days. So you need to know how to be a leader, right? A leader is someone that can influence people. It's not just, say do what I do or do what I say. A leader is someone that people follow without doubt. A true leader, people follow you without doubt. They don't even know what your next step is, but because they have so much belief in who you are and the influence that you carry, they follow you. And of course, you have to be able to have conflict resolution skill, because there will always be issues in the workplace. And this is a skill you have to have as an HR person. so that you know how to step in and harmonize the workplace at every point. So put these power skills in your career toolkit. Of course, add every other thing. Right? Every other thing is Jira, right? Then of course you also have the last one, which is network. You have to build a strong professional circle. You cannot do HR alone. I promise you. Like I promise you, you can't do HR alone, right? So I think it's a very fantastic decision for Dr. Luyemi to have started HR mentorship, because I'm sure that, he could see the future, right? You cannot do HR alone. You have to be part of a professional circle. I know there are a lot of, a lot of HR network groups. Ensure to be in 1, 2, 3. It can even be in all of them, no problem. It can never be too many, right? But belong to a professional circle, because that's how you open door. That's how you get support, and you open door to what new opportunities for yourself. So you can't do HR alone. So professional network has to be in your toolkit as well, right? It has to be in your toolkit. And then even something else, about professional network is that you're able to network, you're able to even know what HR is like working in somewhere, right? You need to know how, maybe you have an HR friend that is in FMGC, for example, and maybe you're in telecommunications, right? In interactions, we're able to tell what HR in that segment looks like, or what HR here looks like. You kind of, you transfer ideas, thoughts, and it also helps you to do better in your role, because you'll be able to analyze, like, okay, areas that, oh, okay, you do this in your organization, how were you able to achieve it? I've been trying to incorporate it. You get help, right, in your circle. You get help in your network. And now there was a report that was made by Harvard Business Review, right? And the report said that 80% of jobs are filled through networking. Now, there's a level of your HR career that you will get to, right? At that point, what you need is not to be applying for every job application that you see, right? What will make you go far is reference. And people will only reference who they can vouch for, which is why it is good to build your circle. It is good to build your network, right? It's not too late. It's not too early. At least attend conferences, attend HR events, go for, I think there was a hangout today, go for a hangout, meet people, right? And when you meet people, don't just, when at the end of the events, you hurry and be good. I think this one is an advice for myself as well. I'm I'm at fault in this, so I'm going to call myself out, right? When you go for events, don't just hurry up. What are you going home to go and do? Right? At least spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, network, exchange contact, exchange cards, talk to people, right? You need network in your toolkit. Believe me, Harvard knew why they did that research, right? 80%, 85% of jobs are filled through networking. So you have to be able to, like, get all of that in your toolkit at the end of the day, right? So moving on to, I think I have 2 comments in the chat box, and I just want to check on it before we move further. Okay, so Dr. Lugemi said Z should show mastery of HR value chain. He now has to show confidence and influence. Finally, he should engage in public speaking, which will make him respected outside in. This is very valid. Honestly, I think one of the best ways that you can actually, amplify your respect a lot better as an HR person is for your employees to know that, you're not just limited to this workspace. Let them know that you come correct, right? I think I love that public speaking part that was highlighted, right? To gain that experience, to be able to gain that respect from outside. You'll be like, our HR is speaking at social place, right? They'll be like, okay. You get, in Nigeria, really, everybody wants to. I think that's the highest, hierarchy of needs. There was a training I did at my last session, my last learning series. I explored the Maslow hierarchy of needs, and the topmost one at the ladder is self-esteem. So people love it when you have it. People want to build it. So as an HR person, you need to have that, right? And there's a comment here that says network builds your individual growth. I tell you, it does. And then of course, somebody also commented on the report I had given. That's the research data. I said top jobs mostly. Exactly. Yeah, top jobs, right? There are HR roles that they do not advertise. I'm just telling you the truth. There are HR roles that you will not see on any job board. You won't see it on LinkedIn. You won't see it anywhere. Because why? They fill those positions with networking. I want to fill this role. I don't know if they've ever headhunted you before. Those roles, you will not see them posted anywhere, right? If you've experienced headhunting before, you will know what I'm talking about. So build your network. Build your network. Build your network. All right. Thank you so much for all your contributions. So moving on to the next slide, right? So I said the roadmap to confidence, right? So this is expected that either you're already, maybe you've not even started the journey to confidence at all. Maybe you're just like, okay, I'm an HR person, I'm working for a social company. You've not started to really, just go beyond being an HR person, because even in all of this, I think it's already been highlighted that you need to be able to, build yourself from outside in to even gain relevance, right? So maybe you've not even taken importance to your personal brand as an HR person. You also have to pay attention to that. That also have to be in your LinkedIn. Say LinkedIn. That's actually the easiest way to build brands these days. But it has to also be in your toolkit, right? From building your professional circle, you have to be able to portray a brand that people will even want to be able to, what's it called? Be in contact with. When you say, okay, this is your name, this is, you have something people can reference or reference, in the sense to say, okay, this person actually knows what they are doing, right? So the very first step, right? So assuming that maybe you've not started your journey to confidence at all, or maybe you're already, on your journey, but you just, maybe need clarity to solidify where you are, right? The very first thing to do is a self-assessment. Identify knowledge and skill gap. Now, I think there's a saying that says, man, know thyself. After all these paparazzi is over, after all our big names, big titles, when you go home, when you're alone, you know where you have those space. You know where you have that skill gap. You know what you don't really know, right? So I think the first place to start, if you really want to gain confidence, is truthfulness to yourself, not to anybody, to yourself. To be like, call your name and say, this particular area of HR, I'm not sure I'm confident in it. If my CEO calls me today to come and defend this thing, I do not know what to say, right? So you know the areas of HR that you're not the part that makes you shine. And you also know the part where, you need a bit of help. You need improvements. So do a self-assessment first to identify your knowledge and skill gaps. And I think the most easiest way to even do this is, just, assess all the core areas of human resources, all the core areas, recruitment, compliance, employee engagement, benefits and administration, training and development, assess all the core areas, right? And check how confident you are with handling them. So in doing that, you're going to find out where you need to do work on, right? So assuming you've already done a self-assessment, you now have to develop a learning plan, right? Even this whole roadmap to confidence also work with people that have not even started HR at all. They're aspiring, right? When you do that assessment, you will know what you need to know. Of course, you go and do research. What does an HR person do? What's their responsibility? And when you realize all of that, develop a learning plan. And this is enrolling in HR courses, attending workshops, and follow HR thought leaders, right? So, of course, after you've identified your skill gap, to know where you need some work as an HR person, the next thing that you want to be able to do is to, right, now have a learning plan, enroll in courses, right? If you have to pay to learn that course, please do a budget, pay and learn it. Because the problems that you will run into because you do not want to pay and invest in your career, right? Or the kind of plateaus that you will meet if you're not ready to really upskill yourself, right? It's going to be more costlier than that money you do not want to release, right? So do a budget plan, maybe save or something, and be able, if it's a course that you know that the only way to get it is a paid process, please ensure to pay. Of course, there's still a lot of free platforms that you can also access for trainings. Please enroll and make sure you complete them. I think the problem that we even have, I'm sure a lot of persons have this issue, even me sometimes, we we enroll for courses and finishing the course is a problem, right? So ensure you have a learning plan so that at the end of the day, you're able to finish, these courses. And let it be one after the other, because another thing is you enroll for this, enroll for this. At the end of the day, you realize that you didn't even complete any one, right? So you want to do it step by step. Don't overburden yourself. And of course, you can also attend workshops. If you see workshops where they do these things practical, they have like all the segments, plays, attend workshops, and of course, follow HR. So now there are people that have achieved this result before you. So it's just easy to just draw from them, right? Draw from them when they have webinars, draw from them when they have seminars, draw from them when they post things online. Read. There are a lot of articles that you can read and equip yourself, right? In the knowledge gap that you may have. Now, step 3 is for you to master HR tech and data, right? Experiment with HRIS is always the first place to start. I will keep saying it, right? AI tools and data storytelling. I think one thing that I do in every three months that I do personally for personal growth is I go online and I just Google in the last 3 months, right? What are the new things or the new what was it called? The new technology that has come into HR that is supposed to make HR easier or is supposed to automate tasks and things like that. There's been a saying that, I think I saw one very funny post on LinkedIn, and the person was saying that that there's a prediction that in 2025, right, that AI is going to replace HR. And I think I just laughed, right? I laughed because people still think HR is documents, right? People think HR is, designing handbooks and sending to everybody to sign, or designing a policy for lateness, or designing this for dress code. People still think, that is what HR is about, which is why you have to be able to, build your toolkit so that those kind of tasks, you're not afraid, right? I think my comment to that was that AI will only take the job of those that have not really been truly working, because I don't know why they say AI will replace HR. Okay. Is it because they have, I think the person was analyzing that now ATS will screen CVs and schedule interview. HR is not going anywhere, right? But for you to be confident in your craft as an HR person, you have to find ways to incorporate technology into your work. You have to know it, right? So that's step 3. And then step 4, build your professional network. I think I've already said this when I was talking about the career, right? For your roadmap to confidence, build your professional network, join HR communities, find mentors, participate in HR conferences, right? Anyhow you can. Volunteer if you must. Just be sure that you're part of something, that will be very, very relevant to you. The easiest place to start is HR mentorship. You're already part of HR mentorship. Just ensure that, you attend the webinars, you're part of what is happening, you go for hangouts. At least from there, you meet a lot of people. I think the last hangout that I was able to attend, and that was the one we had at, what was the name of this place? Somewhere in Lagos Island. I've forgotten the name. Someone should remind me in the comment. That was the one for Lagos in December, or maybe in November, December, whichever month. But it was really great because, I think from that particular hangout that I was able to attend, I know that at least there are like 5 solid HR people that I still talk to till today. I don't know if you get. So you have to be able to maximize what you have within you, right? You don't even have, the funny thing is these communities, you don't have to pay to join. So what is stopping you? You don't have to pay to participate. You don't have to, you don't really have to do, you don't like. I don't think you have to pay. Maybe you want to access Dr. Leyemina, you now say they say we should pay. No, I don't know if you get. So this thing is within your reach. Why not maximize the opportunity that you have, right? And the fifth option, sorry, the fifth option here is okay. All right. So the fifth one here is for you to now implement, everything that you have learned, right? You've identified your knowledge gap, your skill gap. It's for you to now implement everything that you have learned into your current role. That's always the best place to start. I think there was something that I'm trying to remember the particular, there was a training I did on I'm trying to remember it. Oh Jesus. I'm trying to remember it. There was a training I did some time ago, and I think the very first place that I was excited to start to do it is in my role. So maybe you newly learned about, let's say, okay, maybe you newly learned about, let's say, labor law, for example, right? Maybe you were not very conversant in labor laws before, but by the time you identified your skill gap, you realize that I need to do better in labor law, right? Are you now maybe in going through labor law, you now realize that these practices we have in these organizations, they are not, they're not in line with labor law, for example, right? So for that kind of thing, the best place to start is from where you are. Whatever the policy was, right, that is contradicting what the law says, because now you have data, you have information, you have that, and you can now engage in discussions with executives and be like, okay, according to this, da. I don't know. I think I'm always fascinated with law, right? And I think it's because of the way they always say, according to article, this, it's just very fascinating when they, reference part of the law when they are trying to defend their client. I don't know, I just find it very interesting, right? I think that is how you would also be as an HR person when you have that, it's almost like, this person knows what they're saying. I did not just wake up today and decide, okay, I want to change a policy. I'm coming because this is what the law says. And if you really want to position your business as a choice employer in the job market, we have to get it right? So the best place to start is from your role. Implement these skills in your role, in what you currently do in your, daily HR practices at the, end of today. So I'm sure that, as on this call, I believe that we're all reflecting and we're thinking about, the areas that we need to go back, to get work done. The truth is you cannot know HR from A to Z. That's one thing I would like to highlight. There will always be areas where you would, you know, you would be naturally like, a lot more good at, right? Which is why you need to find a balance and be able to have a holistic, knowledge of every area, right? So that regardless of where you stand, you're able to stand solid, right? I think I got a comment. Oh, good. I got a comment from Omobolaji. It says AI would take the jobs of HR personnel without tech skills, right? Oh, let's pray, charity. Let's pray. But I truly believe that, if you know what you're doing as an HR person, right? AI will be able to resolve conflicts, or AI will be able to what's it called, pivot strategies or things. So, just know what you're doing, and I promise you, AI got nothing on you, right? The only thing that I think AI can do now is it can generate documents and stuff, but the nitty-gritty, AI can't do that. Good. Alui said ARO will use AI. Of course, incorporate AI into your work, which is, I think I put it at step 3, master HRO tech. So now it's not even just HRO, it's HRO tech, right? You have to master HRO tech and data. So experiment with it, HRIS, AI tools, data story telling, right? I think for data, I think the key things that are very, that you can start, where you can start with data story, you can start with learning Power BI, you can start with master Power BI, right? And you're good to, like, if you know those two, Your CEO cannot even do meetings without you. I'm telling you, your CEO cannot do meetings without you. Yes, Akiyemi said AI is also a tool. Exactly, is what I've already said on the call, right? I said experiment with HRIS, AI tools, and data storytelling. That's step 3. So in your toolkit, you must have AI. You must know how to use AI tools. You cannot do without it at the end of the day, right? So, and of course, apply your new skills to roles, track your progress, and refine strategies as you go. And you will be, I think I'm still getting comments. Okay. Can you suggest HR groups to join? Okay. Let's not look as if we're marketing groups on this call. But are you in HR mentorship already? That's a great place to start, right? Maybe when I finish the next slide, I can talk more about groups. I'm coming. So that's Dami. Okay, Dami, let me take the next slide quickly and I will talk, more about groups, right? So let's go to my next slide. So conclusively, right? This is conclusion, right? HR. Confidence in HR doesn't come from knowing everything, remember. It comes from leveraging the right tools to navigate challenges with clarity and impact. As you step forward, remember that your influence extends beyond policies and processes. You are shaping cultures. Sorry. You are shaping cultures, and your influence as you step forward, remember your influence extends beyond policies and processes, right? You're shaping cultures, you're empowering people, and you're steering businesses towards success. The journey from competence to confidence begins now. Own your impact and lead with purpose. So that is it, right? It doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from when you leverage the right tools to navigate challenges with clarity and impact. And I think something else I also love to highlight on this call is I think it's something that I've personally noticed in I don't know if it's a current trend, maybe, or maybe, if you've also experienced this, you can also, confirm in the chat so it does not look like, but I know we know what's going on. But it just to highlight, right, a particular trend that I've noticed these days is people, just rushing towards getting, certifications without actually knowing what HR is. Now, certifications are great. You need them, to be able to push your credibility, to say that, you come correct, you know what you're doing. But be sure that you're not just, preparing for these exams and you just get it and you dump your materials. You need to also know HR, right? It's not just to carry titles. It's not just to carry titles around. You have to be able to, understand and know HR beyond your certifications so that, you have the knowledge and that you have the training, you have your certifications, you put it together, it works a lot better, right? At the end of the day. So that is the end of my presentation or, facilitation for the dynamic HR career toolkit from competence to confidence. So on to questions now. So I think I already have 2 questions in the comments. So yes, Atinuke said hands-on experience over certification. Thank you so much for even, amplifying that a lot more. You need to know HR, right? Certifications are good, you need them more, don't get me wrong, but please ensure that you know HR and you have the certification together, power couple, right? That's like, the power couple that actually works. So I'm going to take, I think I already had 2 questions. So for Dami, I said I was going to come back to this, and that is to say, you said if I can suggest HR groups to join, right? So just based off suggestions, not like I'm recommending, right? At the end of the day, still do your research and know the one you want to be a part of. So HR mentorship, I believe you're already in HR mentorship. If you're not, please join HR mentorship, right? That's the first place to belong, right? There are a lot of other groups. I think we have the HR Foundry, we have AHRP, that's Association of Early Human Resource Professionals. We have HRGP. These groups are very plenty. We have, oh my God, I can't even remember a lot of their names. We have HR with TA, I think. We have, there are a lot of groups, right? Even go on LinkedIn, you will see a lot of HR communities that you can be part of. There's HR girlfriends, there's the HR professionals network, right? There are a lot of them. Go to their LinkedIn pages, and find out how you can be a member. I think most of the processes are very straightforward. You just need to complete forms, right? And you wait for the vetting process by the directors, and you'll be electing, of course, if everything you filled is satisfactory. And in some other cases, you may be required to attend some webinars, all of them have their processes, but just, with these options I've given, do your research and be part of at least 1, 2, 3. If you have energy for groups, you can be part of as many as you want, right? And I think I also have a question here from Fayomi that says, which of the professional exams in HR would you advise that HR officer take? Okay. This is very, I think I had made a comment for this, but for Nigeria, right, the governing body for HR certification is CIPM. That's Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. So that was always the first easiest place to start from, right? And I think, because of the payments plan, there's a way the prices are, it's doable, right? So that's always the first place to start. Now, there are also other HR certifying bodies, right, in Nigeria. But then again, CIPM is the governing, I don't know if I should call it maybe the widely recognized one in Nigeria, right? Because most employers are not very conversant with the other ones that we have. I think there are a bit other ones that have been around for a while, but please just do your research. So that's the first place to start, CIPM. Then, of course, if you've gotten a local certification, which is the Nigerian one, if you want to add other ones, you can explore HRCI, you can explore SHRM, you can explore CIPD, right? These three, explore them, and you'll be able to choose the one. And of course, when you're making these inquiries, they will tell you, they will ask you, how many years of experience, and tell you what level you can start from, because they also have like levels in terms of the ones that you can take. So Fayomi, I hope I've been able to answer your question. So I have Noye. So Noye said 60, 30, 10, 60 on the job, 30. Oh, yeah, this is, very fantastic. That was a contribution to the certification discussion I was leading, and that is 60 on the job, 30 through forums, workshops, WhatsApp groups, and 10 on certifications. That's actually, that's a very good, ratio, right? So I'm very happy we're having all the supports on the call as well. So let me go down. So Akinyemi also said, a good HR professional is someone who succeeds in transforming an ordinary worker to operate as if the business belongs to him. Rema. I think I like that. I do, right? Transforming an ordinary worker to operate as if the business, belongs to him. That's really it, If you're able to pilot your workforce to a point where they take ownership of their roles, ownership of their jobs, right? It is fantastic. I think I'm gonna like this comment. It is fantastic to be able to do that. So Fayomi said, yes, thank you. All right. I'm happy I was able to answer that question. So yes, Amabolaji also amplified what I had said. CIPM is the only body for regulation of HR professionals recognized in Nigeria by law. Thank you for amplifying that, Amabolaji. So Fayomi, again, the second confirmation, CIPM is the first place to start from, right? So Emmanuel is asking a question, how to implement a training culture for your organization. So now, right, when you're doing training L&D or training and development, depending on what you want to call it, I think the very first thing you want to understand is you need to know where the business is and where the business wants to go. First place to start. And now, when you've been able to identify these two things, right, you should now go ahead to do a training need analysis. I think we'll call it TNA for short. Do a TNA in your organization. So I don't know what the context of, your question is. Is it that your organization, people, you put training plans and then people do not follow through, or maybe you don't even have it in place yet, you want to incorporate it, right? But I'm going to answer the question either way. So know where the business is and where the business is going, right? And after that, you do a TNA, right, to identify what the needs are among your employees. Now, from the feedbacks that you will get, from the result that you will get from your analysis, right, you should now be able to align business objectives with this training. Because you can do a training, right? And somebody that is in, which wild example can I give? Someone that is in social media, for example, can say that what they want to learn is I want to, I'm looking for something that is kind of opposite, because sometimes when you do this thing, an employee will tell you what they want to learn, and there's in no way, right, it relates to the business or even their current role or something. It may just be their future aspiration. Of course, if you can support them to that level, fantastic as well. But then the focus first should be business objectives, right? Then, of course, any other thing that can be incorporated works as well. So you've done a TNA, you've done alignment, right, in what you analyzed. You want to now go ahead to develop a training plan, right? Training plan for each department, for each employee. And the easiest way to actually go about training plans is to get their line managers involved. You have to be able to get, like, the line managers, their buy-in, right? That's always the easiest way, because an HR person, if you want to do it all alone, believe me, you'll be frustrated along the way, right? So you want to involve their line manager in the whole of this process. And after you've done that, right, the thing is, human beings naturally will move a lot faster if there is a bait. So now I'm talking on the context of maybe you've tried a plan before and it didn't work, right? You can try to now maybe solidify your plans by having things like incentives, right? Have incentives, there should be a catch for when you do this. When you do this, do this, do this, or when you complete this in so time frame, right? So you can incorporate incentives and, of course, ensure that, line managers and even leadership themselves have a buy-in in this thing. Like, let it be that, it is an organizational thing for us to, be trained. And always approach your training plans and your training, anything you're doing as far as training is concerned. Ensure you're approaching it from the point that this is for your development. Remember, let it be that the employees understand it, that it is for their development, not for yes, it's for the organization at large, but first, it is you looking out for their personal growth and their professional growth, right? The end point should not be that, okay, at the end, this is you should always sell it from, I want to ensure that by the time you're leaving this organization, you are leaving equipped, you're leaving, more influential, you're leaving more credible, right? So if you always come from that angle, right, it would work. You should be able to implement a culture that will go through. And when you say culture in this sense, culture actually works when it starts from the very top, which is why, you have to be able to get a leadership buy-in, right? It's not that some people can take their training, some people cannot. You have to be sure that everybody, right, is together in whatever you're tying to your training plans. So Emmanuel, I hope I've been able to answer your question. Then I think Akinyemi also said most CEOs focus on bottom lines. How can we change this narrative? Interesting, right? The truth is, even if you're the owner of the business, if the table's turned and you're the CEO, right? Believe me, you would also focus on the bottom line. You would also focus on the bottom line, right? At the end of the day, even if you were the CEO, right? Because you have to understand that for you, right, you are thinking of how to, get your job done in such a way that, you contribute to the business success, right? But for the owner of the business, what they're thinking about is they're thinking about the investments they have put in place. Some people even loan money these days to start organizations, just putting that context out there. And they put a lot of investment, put a lot of things in place. And there's a projection in their head that, okay, before you start anything, you have thought about it that, okay, by so time, right, you should have gotten this, and that. That's what drives people to start investing, because they've already in their head, they've calculated what they will gain. So now, right? They would always think bottom line, expect it, right? So if you wanted to be able to change the narrative of what's it called? CEOs not focusing on bottom line, I think what you can do is, as an HR person, whatever you're doing for an organization, just ensure that you have those success stories. I think there's someone on the call that had, mentioned it at the beginning. Ensure that you have those success stories so that it takes away their attention, right? And they can see that whatever it is that you're implementing, whatever it is that you're bringing on board, you step in and things are moving around. You step in and you're the source of success in people, in employees, in processes, this, that, you're able to blend people, processes, innovations together to be able to find, success and business outcomes. Because like I said, CEOs will always think about bottom lines. They have spent money and they are really looking for that investment to return. So what you can do is it shouldn't even bother you, right? It's going to always be there. But for you, focus on your own bottom line. And your bottom line should be the success stories of everything that you represent as an HR person. I hope I've been able to dissect that particular point. I think I have about 2 more questions here. So Paul said, in an organization where an employee is up to 5 years in the job, but they recruit people which he trained, and the new employees earn more than him. This is how can you as an HR person manage the person to continue trusting in organizational vision? The truth is, for this kind of scenario, right? I think for this person, if they know that every new person that has joined them earns more than them, I don't think there is anything that you will be able to do as an HR person, right, that will help him to continue trusting in that vision other than being able to augment his pay, right? So now, what you can do for that person as an HR person is, there has to be a reason why you're bringing in new employees and they're earning more than. Although there has been a research, there's a study results. I've forgotten the organization I did that study. I don't know if it's Deloitte or one of these firms, but there's a study that has, that was done, and the result was that if your career, if that people actually earn less when they spend, longer times in organizations. And I think what's contributing to that is, every day the job market evolves. If maybe you hire a business development officer in January, by September, if you're bringing somebody else from the market into the job, the price has bumped up, right? So there's price, how will I call it? The price, the job market, the cost to hire, the cost, per talent, is actually increases. So for those that are still outside in job market searching, because promotions are happening, salary scales are changing, economy is moving. So there are a lot of things responsible for these things. So what you can do really is, first off, right? I think the first question will be, why is this person not even earning, because you said the person has been there for 5 years. So if, depending on how your salary increment structure is, I'm believing that for that 5 years, you should have gotten a raise 5 times, all things being equal. I want to believe that the organization, right, has that in place. At least in that 5 years, he's gotten at least, right, increments at least. This is at least 5 times. Now, if that's not the case, if where he is, right, is below these newly employees, you want to be able to ascertain what value is this person, right, to this organization. And it is great to compensate, because, I think your question is, you want to be able to manage the person to continue trusting. See, the moment he realizes that money is no longer balanced, I promise you that person is going to be job searching, because he's going to feel, you know, is going to feel not valued. Is going to feel like, I've spent so much time with this organization, and, after all these years, right, I am not getting this. So it's why it's important for you to have a promotion plan, have a salary increment plan, have performance, even performance incentive, performance bonuses, have a plan, right? So that for every time new employees join your organization, it's not as if the ones that have been there before would not feel as though, they're not out of place or they're not valued, right? So the first thing you want to do is to do an analysis for this person. You have to find out what has happened in the last 5 years and why is it that his pay is not, up to where it should be, right? Because of course, new people have joined and they aim under him. And from your analysis, if you discover that, he's a high performer, is someone that you value in the organization, please, you have to put something in place to be able to get him to be well compensated. Because believe me, this person that has stayed with you for 5 years, if he's a high valued employee, if you lose him, the cost to replace him will be more than what you will pay, to get him to be either on the same level with these people or a bit higher. So you want to do your analysis and know where the person stands, right? So, okay, I think I have a reply on this. So Aliyu said merit increment. Okay, I think that's amplifying what I was talking about, right? And of course, you also supported that with line managers. Line managers in most cases understand their line gaps. You can also come up with training needs from appraiser outcomes. Yes, thank you so much, Aliyu. I think you're actually amplifying what I said about TNE. Thank you for contributing to that. So now, Akinyemi said, what a superb session. Well done, madam. Oh, thank you so much. Can we please have the recording sent to our emails? Okay, so you may not have this sent to your email directly, but the recordings will usually be shared on the HR mentorship group. So are you on the HR mentorship group? I think that's the very first question to ask. If you're on the group, then you don't need to worry. The link to the training will be sent, to the group at the end of the session. Maybe not today, but I think in about 24 hours, the link to the training will actually be sent. So I think I got a very funny comment. Atinuke said, talent inflation. True, it's very real, right? And then I have another question from Mobolaji. He said, what is the job evaluation system in the organization? So I'm not quite sure what this question is for, but I'm thinking you're asking this in line with the question about the employee, right? Please confirm if that's what this question is for. If you're actually asking it, if you're asking it to buttress that employee that's been there for 5 years and any lesser than those that just came in. So you want to be able to check that, right? Just confirm for me. So yeah, if that's if that's what you said this towards, and that is actually another way to go about it, what's the job evaluation system, in the organization? I think if they're able to ascertain what it is, right, it should be able to make things a lot easier. Really, you should, as an HR person, I think is one mistake that should not even happen, right? People should be compensated for their job, well done. And if you're employing, that's what you have to do. What's it called? When you're so recruitment itself is not just, okay, we have to fill this position. Oh yeah, put out the job. How much do we think is best? You put the price. You have to do even internal analysis to know what the salary scale is, so that you are not, demoralizing somebody that is already like a part of your organization, a part of your system, by bringing in somebody that you're not even, you're not sure of, right? That you're not sure will even stay with you. You cannot, you can. I think there's this comment that says, is it the angel or the devil that is better than the one that you don't know, something like that, right? So you want to be sure to have that in place. And I think Omobolaji even further just amplified that a proper job evaluation would have placed him better on the salary scale. Thank you so much. Experience counts for something as well. Thank you. This is even just going further to amplify what I said. Experience counts for something. Even employee loyalty to your company counts for something. Pay your employees well. Compensate them. Especially the ones that have been with you. Compensate them, right? Adedo, you said, I think it's competitive advantage. I think it's competitive edge. That's true, right? Salary, in the job market right now, there's also a competitive edge to how much you can earn, of course, according to what is required, according to the role that needed to be filled, according to the experience they're looking for at the end of the day. So yes, there's a competitive edge, right? But they shouldn't affect the ones that are already internal and ensure that they are well kept. Because if that person leaves, that gap, for you to fill it back. So now Etini said the scenario played out in my previous organization. They brought in new hires, paid them more than me while I was the one doing the whole work. Oh, Etini, on behalf of your previous organization, we all say sorry. Oh my God. I apologize on their behalf. I don't even know who they are, but I apologize. And I truly hope that you have, gotten, I don't know if you're still there, but I hope that you have gotten, well compensated, um, with that, after that experience. You've gotten people to pay you, your worth, right, at the end of the day. So yeah, you don't do that. You don't bring people in and then they're not aim on than those that work. Before you bring anybody in, do an analysis. If you need to increase salaries, if you think that, okay, the price of this role now in the market is this, right? It's almost how things, okay, let's even use like food commodities. Let's use food, for example. I think rice, right? It doesn't stop you from even buying rice, no matter how expensive it gets. So you want to be sure that you have checked. If you have to increase salaries of those that are on ground before you start to now match the new price in the market, please do it. Please do it. It is people spend the greater part of their life at work, because I don't know if anybody on this call has taken time to analyze how many days in a year they spend at work. If you've done it before, you will be wowed, right? So people spend a great amount of their time at work. So please, everybody should be well compensated, right? So Abiodun Okunlade said he's not in the group and would like to join. Oh, so it means we have to, how do we get the link posted here? Is there anybody that's on HR mentorship that's on this call? Please, if there's someone from I'm sure we have people from HR mentorship. If it's possible, please, could you copy the group link and paste it in the comments so people can join the community from here, please? Thank you. Someone should please help me with that. So moving on, Etini said, thank God he made a way for me, and the HR department has never been the same since I left last year. You see, one thing that I believe is that you will be compensated well elsewhere. You will be. If where you are, they don't see your value, maybe you even try to make them see your value. As long as you know what you carry, your toolkits, remember your toolkits, right? You will be well compensated elsewhere. And like he said, it never remained the same. I think there's this word they say nobody is irreplaceable, but see, there are some employees that leave your organization. You will know that somebody left. For 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you will know that somebody left this role. You will still be hearing that name when this person was here, when this person was here, right? So you want to be sure, if you're on this call, HR manager, please ensure that your compensation, strategy is tight, that people are well paid, paid the what for the contributions that they give to your organization. And I think Noye dropped something. Say, where does the employee in the 9-grid boss? It may help in making a decision. Is there 360-degree? Okay. I think Noye is also answering that. She's also contributing to that, this whole employee, question, right? That the person has been there for 5 years. So the HR manager can also use the 9-grid boss. That's true, right? To analyze what the employee is and be able to do a proper evaluation, right? It's also possible, right? In a case where the person is not really a high performer, maybe it's just, there's some employees, they are not here, they are not there, they are just, in a particular, there are some employees that have seen that to be part of organizations just because they are legacy members or something, So depending on where the person is, right? Please do an evaluation. Thank you, Noye, for contributing that. And I think Omabolaji said the proper job evaluation would have placed him better on the salary scale. Thank you, experience counts. Thank you. So, okay, yes. So, Dr. Leyemi said, we should wrap and go and rest. But I think I still have like 5 more questions, right? So I would just run through them, and I think we should be able to call it a night. So just quickly, okay. Can you suggest? I think I've answered the question before. HR mentorship, join HR mentorship. HR mentor, send you the link and you can just join, fill the form and wait for our directors to vet you. So yes, Dr. Leyemi already dropped it. 5320606. Chat the number to join. Thank you so much. So I think I have been able to take all the questions that I have on the call. Yes. All right. So in absence, I think this is where we would, oh, I think let's say, okay, great. So someone already dropped the link to even the HR mentorship. Thank you so much, Tokwe. This is even a lot easier. So please just click on the link, fill the form, and be rest assured, HR mentorship will get back to you. HR mentorship is such an amazing platform to be a part of, right? You're going to meet fellow HR professionals. Is a place for growth. You can make inquiries if you have questions. We take all of that as well. We take all of that. You can even make an inquiry if you need help with a particular task, you're not clear, you even need contact. The platform is really exceptional for an HR person if you're looking to join a community that would contribute to your professional growth. So thank you so much for joining the call. I hope I've been able to equip you, right, with the right tools for your HR career to take a dynamic turn. And I ensure, and I hope that you've been able to, that by the end of this call, right, depending on wherever you are right now in your HR career, you're able to move from competence to confidence. All right. Ali, you said thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Oh, no, I should be saying you're welcome. Omabolaji said HR mentorship to the world. Oh, yes. Honestly, it's such an amazing platform. That's Oluyemi. Thank you so much, for the initiative to create a platform that is not just empowering, it is transformation. I think that's the word for us to use. As Nika said, very insightful session. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you for participating. And no, yes, this is so super. Thank you. All right. So please ensure if you've not filled the form, please fill it to join the group so that you're part of the process. All right. Okay. I think that's the end. You're welcome. I see all the thank yous in the comments. You're welcome. Good night, everyone. Good night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. Good night.